So here we have using yo hablé, which is I talked in Spanish. So for example, the first one says, I talked briefly. I talked briefly, you say, yo hablé brevemente. Yo hablé brevemente. Next, I talked loudly. I talked loudly, you say, yo hablé en voz alta. Yo hablé en voz alta. Next, I talked quietly. I talked quietly, you say, yo hablé en voz baja. Yo hablé en voz baja. Next, I talked fast. I talked fast, you say, hablé rápido. Hablé rápido. Next, I talked slowly. I talked slowly, you say, hablé despacio. Hablé despacio. Next, I talked yesterday. I talked yesterday, you say, hablé ayer. Hablé ayer. Next, I talked today. I talked today, you say, hablé hoy. Hablé hoy. Next, I talked honestly. I talked honestly, you say, hablé honestamente. Hablé honestamente. Next, I talked openly. I talked openly, you say, hablé abiertamente. Hablé abiertamente. Next, I talked about weather. I talked about weather, you say, hablé del clima. Hablé del clima. Next, I talked clearly. I talked clearly, you say, hablé claramente. Hablé claramente. Next, I talked at work. I talked at work, you say, hablé en el trabajo. Hablé en el trabajo. Next, I talked about work. I talked about work, you say, hablé del trabajo. Hablé del trabajo. Next, I talked about school. I talked about school, you say, hablé. Hablé de la escuela. Hablé de la escuela. Next, I talked about plans. I talked about plans, you say, hablé de planes. Hablé de planes. Next, I talked with friends. I talked with friends, you say, hablé con amigos. Hablé con amigos. Next, I talked with family. I talked with family, you say, hablé con familia. Hablé con familia. Next, I talked with her. I talked with her, you say, hablé con ella. Hablé con ella. Next, I talked with him. I talked with him, you say, hablé con él. Hablé con él. Next, I talked with them. I talked with them, you say, hablé con ellos. Hablé con ellos. Next, I talked with you. I talked with you, you say, hablé contigo. Hablé contigo. Next, I talked to strangers. I talk to strangers, you say, hablé con extraños. Hablé con extraños. Next, I talk to neighbors. I talk to neighbors, you say, hablé con vecinos. Hablé con vecinos. Next, I talk to kids. I talk to kids, you say hablé con niños. Hablé con niños. Next, I talk to teachers. I talk to teachers, you say hablé con maestros. Hablé con maestros. Next, I talk to doctors. I talk to doctors, you say hablé con doctores. Hablé con doctores. Next, I talk to clients. I talked to clients, you say hablé con clientes. Hablé con clientes. Next, I talked on the phone. I talked on the phone, you say hablé por teléfono. Hablé por teléfono. Next, I talked in person. I talked in person, you say hablé en persona. Hablé en persona. Next, I talked in English. I talked in English, you say hablé en inglés. Hablé en inglés. And the last one says I talked in Spanish. I talked in Spanish, you say hablé en español. Hablé en español.